Hi, everybody. Wel- Welcome again. I am Dexter, your host today. Very casual Sunday night, answering questions and also giving the public updates about what's the ongoing thing that is happening behind the scenes in EVW. So, without further ado, I want to get going with some of our announcements. Oh, hey, Drew. I was in Vegas last weekend for a conference. I met with a ton of very influential people in the gaming industry. And well, hey everybody. And I've got some pretty good information to share. So matter of fact, barely yeah. So barely missed you. Yeah, I was hoping to stay for the Olympia event, but I had to bail last minute because I had some other pretty important work to do back home. So one of the things that as I was talking with all these very influential people, right? I even hung out with like say the people from BetMGM, right? The third largest sports book in the country, and we arm wrestling have one path forward, and it's the only path forward in order to enter that industry, that field of gaming, online gaming. And what that is we have to have more events, more events, way more events. We are talking about minimum 24 EVW related events. So that's kind of the thing that I'm talking to Robert right now. We got to increase the frequency of events, and also then the question is, how are we going to achieve this? And and we've got an idea. One of it is, we've got to start spending a lot more time to get more and more affiliated partners to come on board. So there are a lot of other promotions all around the world, and very often they would like to have some of EVW's athletes on there, right? And sometimes they also need some sort of a guidance and potentially also a pay-per-view platform that is superior to YouTube, because YouTube takes 30% of all revenue flat, which is an absorbent amount of fees. Like, yeah, it is just ridiculous. Now, if you were to work on, say, our platform, right, because we've already paid for the upfront fee, for the coding and the programming, and also, so there is a very little back end, uh, what we call variable costs. It's very, very low because the fixed cost is mostly taken care of. So the variable costs, depending on the size of the event and the cost of the event, it is, potentially only 10%. So you'll make a lot more by being on our platform. And depending on we could even go below 10% to be honest, depending on the size and the expected volume and whatnot. Now, so that's where I think we can all shine. Now, EVW doesn't plan on making money off the affiliate programs, but it's more so that we can help one another. It's a kind of a win-win situation. You need a platform to do your pay-per-views. You need some of EVW's athletes, even as potentially special guests, and you need a way to reach to them. We can help those, and in exchange, we have more events under our umbrella that I could go back to, say, BetMGM and says, guys, I have this all ready to go. We have 24 athletes. Boom, we are ready to. Are are we ready to do a deal together? So that's kind of where we are at, and I think that's how I'm going to be pushing things a little bit more. I want to be capable of. I don't want to just do all the events myself. It's just way too much right now. Especially we don't have a very big team. We don't even have a you know we don't. There's a lot of things we are struggling with in terms of if you're trying to do more than maybe even 10, 12 events a year. So therefore we have to limit how much we personally do, and then everybody else can jump on the bandwagon and grow it together under the EVW brand. And again, this is not our moneymaker. It's not our profit center. This is merely a way that we can help one another. So there's that. Yeah, that's kind of what was brought to me is like at least 2 events per month. Else, it doesn't make sense to dedicate a whole section for just one, for one sport. And then the thing that was brought up is like, well, what about other promotions that is not under our brand? Is this, look, we sign deals with, we have an agreement with, say, NBA, NFL, right? These kind of, like large league organizations. So they only talk to a reputable guy, right? Then, like, do because they are not going to be hyper experts in the industry, in the field. So say, some Joe Schmo wants to, start his own league and is called, the Dexter uh Arm Wrestling Federation or whatever, right? And I'm going to start my own event. Well, and then I submit to BetMGM. These guys will be like, I don't know who this guy is. He's only going to do 2 events a year, and to reset and restart the whole application process and going through all the paperwork is just way too much. So they'd rather have us be the guy who vet the program, vet all the leagues and promotions out there, and then if it's under our umbrella, then we can submit all the paperwork to them. Then, uh, you know, so at this gaming convention, it showed all the data, and sports, gaming, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. They were showing data out there that by and we've already guessed it, right? The more that people put into something, the more people care and the more people wanted to watch. So I know at one point there was even conversations about, well, what if we had a deal with, say, BetMGM, and somebody who deposits like, $200 in, to one of the matches for arm wrestling, they will automatically get a coupon code to watch the pay-per-view for free, right? So that's a kind of a step in to exploding the sport more, right? So there's a lot of things that we talked about, and I think there is a significant way that arm wrestling can go mainstream faster, and I think it's one definitive way is through gaming. So, yeah, just to quickly answer some questions. I thought you're going earlier. Yes, I was, but one of my eldest daughter wasn't feeling too well, so I was taking care a little bit about so I was a little delayed. Um, seems like Vitali wants to pull Levon before Devon in February. Uh, maybe, maybe, because I know there's that whole conversation about Devon pulling Vitali sometime around March. I think that's what Devon has been pushing out there. So I think to make that work, he needs to make sure that, Levon's out the way first, kind of thing. Yes, 24 events a year is at the minimum, right? Obviously, the more the better. So, and again, we're not trying to make it's not a profit center for this. If all you promoters out there, that are thinking of doing some level of pay-per-view production whatsoever, let us know. Even if it's free broadcast, honestly, it really doesn't fully matter. But I'm just saying that if you're thinking of a pay-per-view platform, we could do it for very, very affordable number. Um, let's see. Yeah, so correct, DJ, you are absolutely correct. This past week, we finalized all our production team, right? And I think I mentioned it last week, where our production team this time is going to cost almost 5 times as much as Istanbul, right? And almost, yeah, yeah. So it's almost 5 times of Istanbul. So it's pretty pricey. And so one thing that Robert, and I, we were talking, we need to figure out how to scale a little bit better. And I'm almost getting the approval from Robert to go ahead and build our own flight case. So I don't know if you know what a flight case is. A flight case is like, one of those massive uh, black box. Well, it was the case, and all the equipment is all built in. So like, the panels that control all the videos. There's another panel that controls all the audio, and then there's a computers that control like the replay system. So there is a designated replay guy who all he does is like, oh, there's a pin. I'm going to press the button, and it will do a snapshot, and you can preset it to say 10 seconds prior to the pin. And so when he clicks save, the director can tell the video guy to switch it to the replay, and then he'll pull up the past 10 seconds, right? So that's how they do things. So there's a lot of these kind of pieces of equipment that will be actually in the flight case, all connected. Laptops will control all the graphics, like, oh, there's a foul, so he'll press this button, and then boom, there'll be one dot on the foul line, right? And then, oh, it's now this guy scored another point. It's 2-1, so he pressed this button, and so that's kind of the graphics package. So everything's all going to be built in, and will just travel with it. It can cost few $100,000 for literally the best equipment, right? And but we are going to be a little bit not quite UFC level, so we are going to bring it down just a hair, because there is this thing called like diminishing return, where the first like camera, right? If you spend $100 on an Amazon camera, it's just it's terrible. Now you spend another $300 for the camera. That's $400. The camera becomes really good. Now if you spend another $1,000 for the camera, it is so good. Like maybe out of a scale of 100, you're like at 80. Now then you have to spend another $10,000 to get it from 80 to 85, and it is very incremental. And then once you get into like Hollywood level IMAX kind of cameras, we are talking about hundreds of $1,000s for just one camera. So we're gonna find kind of a really good kind of quality of camera. So we are looking at, maybe you'll see later, but we're thinking of getting like a Orsa 6K G2 cameras, so they're from Blackmagic. So if you want to Google that, each cameras will be, with the lenses, could be over $10,000, and we'll need multiple of those cameras. That's kind of the level that I'm kind of thinking. We gotta be high level, and we got to be able to bring our cameras around, so consistency is there. So whenever we travel, we will always travel. Now with the same equipment, we'll also try to train the same people using the equipment, because every equipment's a little different, right? For instance, I think the zoom for a Canon camera and a Sony camera, it's on the opposite side, and also the settings are all kind of messed up and weird. So we're gonna build and then assemble same team. Like right now, if you see that, only Aaron, our director of photography, he's the guy on stage, with the gimbals. So he's the only camera guy that that we bring to all our events. We're gonna expand that team more. We're gonna expand that team more, so that every event is gonna be consistent, right? That's So with that, when we own all our equipment, that would reduce our costs for each event, right? Um, it will allow us to have a bigger, more options on how we're going to do our venues. Example, so the difference between a cheaper camera and a better camera, that there obviously there are many differences, but one of the biggest difference on using a cheaper camera and a more expensive camera, it's the sensor size, right? So think of the sensor size being how big. It's not just a resolution. It's not just a resolution, but it's also how much light it can take in. Okay, when you can take in more light, you can have it in a darker venue and still be clear. Else, have you seen, when you use like your iPhone and you're in the middle of a dark room, it starts getting grainy, and a whole bunch of like noise, like a lot of pixelated you know dots that don't match the colors. Those are because the sensor size is really small, right? So there are certain limitations. Now obviously technology gets better, AI gets to clean it up, things post-production, but that's when live broadcast becomes significantly more challenging, because you are fixing things on the fly. You don't have time to clean things up. You don't have time to apply multiple different filters, right? So that's one. The second thing would be, say, they have what they call a camera control unit. Now, I know I might be talking a little bit more about technical stuff, but today you learn about more about cameras. So that's what they call CCU. And the CCU, what that is all the cameras when they're connected to a single control unit. Say, example, right? Now it's the walkout, right? We got to dim the lights down, so there'll be a guy who controls the lights. So when he dims the light down, one guy will automatically control all the cameras to increase the ISOs or the control, so that way it opens up the camera so it absorbs more light in. Okay, so then the picture isn't dark. So have you seen like some Hollywood movies where like it's absolutely supposed to be pitch black, but for some reason with very minimal light, they're still able to get a very clear picture of something that's in the dark, right? That's because they have good cameras. Now, that's what we're going to do. The same thing. We're going to have really good cameras. So what happens is if the lights down, automatically one button and all the cameras would be in the same clear mode. What happens in the past is every camera operator has to manually change the setting on the fly. Now, guess what? When they're changing the settings on the fly, they are not going to be able to have maybe the right focus, the right angles, the right, they're just going to be screwing everything up because they're busy changing. And so it's not the best, right? Now, that function alone is going to cost us a little bit more money, but that's all what we need to do in order to ensure that we can have multiple angles that we can select from, because all cameras are preset ahead of time. So those are kind of like the small little things that technically an iPhone works, webcam kind of works as well, but in order to achieve what we want to do, we got to think bigger. And so we're going to spend six figures just getting all our equipment owned by EVW. And so even a smaller promotion or a league or who wants to partner with us, if they want to have access to that equipment, that's available for a very affordable price. Because essentially what I can think, maybe not next year, maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, when we grow more and more affiliate kind of programs, then we can give our camera operators and our technicians full-time jobs, right? So every week they're traveling to some event somewhere in the world, right, to host an event. I think that's, I mean, if you look at how the UFC does it now, obviously we have been always referencing the UFC like crazy because in the world of combat sport, like they're the top, right? I mean, so we have questions like Robert and I was like, I don't know what kind of what we are doing. We were like, what does the UFC does, right? So sometimes the UFC, Dana White's the tiebreaker essentially. So that's where we're going at. And I think once we own all the equipments, costs will go down drastically, allow us to be more efficient, faster. We are not at the mercy of certain people, namely local production team members. So that's kind of where we're going. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind. Dexter versus the wall. Yeah, I'll just use AI to make my logo as well. How about that? Sorry, I shouldn't be taking stabs like that. But yeah, BetMGM is the third largest. I think the largest is FanDuel, then DraftKings, and then it's BetMGM. So, but that's where we are at. Yes, so that's exactly right. That's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. That's what they were also worried about match fixing. If they are working with unknown operators that don't have certain background checks done, they have no reputation on the line. Therefore, you can't just go up to those guys and say, "Hey, would you host my event?" They're not going to do that because they don't know very much about you, right? So if it's under the EVW brand name, we make sure, well, it's our responsibility to do all the vetting and say, hey, these guys are very reputable. We'll make sure that nothing of that sort will happen. Okay. So one of the things that you could prevent match fixing is to do a cap. And this was just a blanket rule, depending on the volume of the sport, right? What they do is they can cap it and say, okay, well, the cap is $500 per person, maximum you can put on a single given match. Okay, so it's not like, well, I'm gonna put $2 million on this thing, and then I'm gonna pay off the other guy and give him like 100 grand, right? You can't do that because it's capped at $500. So there's a lot of practices that they put into place to prevent that, but still, um, arm wrestlers may even take a lot less. I personally have have seen attempts for match fixing, not just within arm wrestling, but I'm just talking in general. That I've personally got to witness that attempt being done. So I know this is a very very real problem that all sports book companies are very worried about. So they have their own risk mitigation team that does all the analysis. So that's why anybody who is affiliated with EVW will almost sort of get a stamp of uh some trustworthiness, right? Because Robert and I will not let that happen. Uh, I mean, unless you give me like $100 billion, then I might let it happen. But because I'll fix everything with $100 billion. But anything less than that, nah, I'm not. We're not doing it because we need to. If if match fixing took place, that could literally destroy the sport and set us back years and years of work because nobody would trust watching the event anymore. So yeah, and also congratulations to Drew. Drew won how many? Three gold and a silver, and so congratulations. Yeah, I think many people are saying that, but we gotta increase our event count. Let's see. Esports stadium are a nice setup for production venue. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite venue this year has got to be the Arlington Esports Arena. Beautiful place. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's you walk in and you really like boom in your face. So anybody who has been there, who went there to our event earlier this year, you know how awesome that whole arena felt. So we do have plans to going back there again. So that would be very very nice. Let's see. Gotham Arm Wrestling says, I've got an idea. Volunteer pullers who are good enough and willing to put on a jersey and pull a match for no money. They have to be good but not paid. Maybe low levels pro would do it. To be fair, I think this is absolutely true. There are many arm wrestlers, even at the almost pro level, that they're almost at the okay. So in my now, maybe this is not the correct definition, but in my understanding, a professional athlete of any sport, right? Not just arm wrestling, is one who does this full time and nothing else, right? And we only have a very small handful of that. Right now, we have many almost pro, right? Well, in that sense, so in that definition of monetary making, that is that definition of pro. But then obviously we are adopting professional in the sense of their capability. So, but if you revert back to say the financial standpoint, where how many of them are working full time on just arm wrestling, we only maybe have a handful. A lot of them have side gigs where they are trainers and personal coach, right? But all those that have other jobs would be, I think a lot of them would be willing to pull for absolutely free for a match. That's correct. That's correct. Now, uh, at some point, we will, when, when we figure out and we finalize what we're doing in starting in Atlantic City, or is it maybe it's not Atlantic City in December, we will try and do something whereby our event would have the prelims. We still haven't figured out exactly what we're doing with the preliminary event, but that could be where the undercard is, right? And the winner gets to go on the main event, next main event or something. So There's that. Yes, Mark Musician Man. vMix is actually the program that we use to handle all our graphics. So our graphics package is managed by vMix. So, hey, Alex, got a match coming up. Good luck. Good luck. Uh, yeah, we we use a lot of Sony FX3, 6, and 9s. So those are cinema grade, and they have internal fans, so they don't really heat up very much. So they're good. Yeah. So we are thinking, well, I mean, we are thinking of just getting one set for now, and we'll just travel to regions. And depending on the size of it, there is this. I don't know if you guys know, but there is a hidden pricing for media companies to ship our equipment, right? So we can ship all our equipment for a really reduced price. I think it's like I think $50 for up to like 100 pound case. So just so you know, but you need to show credentials. You need to show credentials that you are indeed working for a media company. So a lot of broadcast cameras don't necessarily have to be full frame, but yes, we are looking at the Ursa G2 for broadcast. Let's see. Lens more important than camera body. Oh yeah, 100% agree. Well, to the most part, I agree. Let's see. Right hand he needs. So there's a lot of internal talking about Alex, with Schoolboy with Arm Wrestling TV, talking about upcoming match. So let's see. Let's see. Here's another one from DJ USA. Speaking of AI, you should get all your athletes to create Sora 2 cameos so fans can put them in videos to create some viral marketing. Hmm. I'll look into it. You know what's funny though, because right now Sora 2 is the all the rage and everything. Uh, I'm trying to think. What was the other AI company? I'm gonna Oh no, VO3, right? The new one from Google that came out maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. Now VO3 now is going to be releasing a 60-second AI version. So right now, I think there is a cap even in Sora. I think of about 8 seconds. That's the maximum duration, at the highest spec. Now 60 seconds is going to be crazy because you can only do maybe a small little short scene for 2 seconds. And so what most people have been doing is they've been doing 8 seconds and they're like stitching it up all together, making it a longer video. But VO3 would be able to do longer. Let's see. What are we doing today, Dexter? Mr. Peanut says, same thing we do every day, trying to take over the world. Yes, we're gonna take over the world with through arm wrestling. Through arm wrestling. I was having dinner with one of the let's just put him a very influential guy in MGM, and he was telling us about how uh, you know how combat sport like UFC is so much more interesting. And I says that's true, but the lifespan of an athlete there it's a lot shorter than arm wrestling. And the best part is right we are capable of utilizing athletes from other sports who have retired in their mid to early 30s and absorb them into arm wrestling. So that's one thing that most sports can't. They can't do it. I mean, I guess they can go to golf or something that also has a pretty decent longevity. But, from a combat sport perspective, arm wrestle, arm wrestling. That I think that's where we could find. Matter of fact, one of the craziest thing that we've that Benji actually Benji told us that he was talking to somebody really. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'll invite Benji. Benji, I want you to make the announcement of what happened a couple weeks ago. No, sorry, a day ago. So there's that. Let's see. Sora is crazy. So Benji, I just sent you an invite. Just join whenever. So we'll get back to that. But I think that's kind of what I think we're going to be doing really well with, is absorbing all the famous people who have already made it in other sports, who have maybe retired and who wants to come back. That is going to be super cool. Well, come back to some level of spotlight. I mean, technically, Chael Sonnen is one of them. He's still competing to a certain level, right? Not in the UFC. I think he just did about a month ago. He did a Brazilian jiu-jitsu or some wrestling. I think it's wrestling. He did some wrestling competition against Craig Jones and got his butt handed to him. But still, nonetheless, he's still a top tier athlete and doing super well. Whereas Craig Jones is the top of his level right now. Let's see. So, how about body cams for ref? So Joseph Busher is asking, how about body cams for refs to switch at certain moments in the setup? Body cams. I'm gonna think a little bit about that one. Because, okay, so I know the short answer is why it's a no. Okay. But it's not a completely no either. So in live broadcasts, we care a lot about lag. Okay, what lag is. So if one of those wireless cameras, right? You just get a normal camera and then you have a wireless a video transmitter. You can go online, you can spend $100, you can spend $300, $1,000, right, on Amazon. But the professional grade level, it's like $5,000-$6,000. Okay, which is what we use. It's a $5,000-$6,000 equipment. And what the difference is that the expensive equipment costs a lot of money. And the reason why, it's because of the lag. And they count it in milliseconds. Okay. So what that means is all our main tripod cameras, they're all hardwired. So they're essentially almost zero lag because they have fiber optics in it and everything. So say example, right? We are switching cameras and it's almost in a pin position. And then we switch over to a wireless camera. And it was not a pin. It's almost a pin, but it's like half a second behind. That is going to tell the audience, it's kind of a weird thing because like, wait, I thought he's already doing that. It's like going back in time a little bit, right? Because there's that lag, right? Maybe 0.2 seconds lag, which is significant enough when you're going pretty fast. So it doesn't have a very seamless transition, whereas the very expensive cameras don't have, the very expensive video transmitters don't have this problem. Just look it up. It's called Teradek. Okay. Because I mean, if it's on the low level and it's only just one camera and it's always that camera and it's not going to switch, then you could use the $1,000 one. That one is perfectly fine. But for us, if we're gonna have that camera with that camera and a transmitter, that's gonna be a little clunky, but very doable. Very doable. I'll think about that. Also, the other thing is we have 4 refs, right? And they rotate around, so they have to constantly take off, all the equipment, and every time you start switching things out, then you end up having sort of the same issue we had in Arlington, where the microphones did, and we didn't catch it fast enough, right? So we potentially could have that. So let's see, next one. BKFC is really hot right now. Yes, BKFC is pretty hot right now. BKFC is hot, and potentially the owners of BKFC might be coming to Switzerland. And if you know who the owners are, you'll be... Now, again, I'm not going to say that they are 100% coming, but there's a chance that they're coming. We've already in communications with them. One of the owners is very likely to be coming and asking the rest of the owners if they want to come. So, um, I don't know. I didn't know Neil was some GB19 is asking if MGM guys are still close with Neil pickup. Uh, I I did not bring Neil's name up because I wasn't. Well, I didn't know Neil was close to the MGM guys. So there's that. Uh, all right, Sora 2 is somebody mentioned. Sora 2 is up to 20 seconds, but requires $200 a month. Yeah, 20 seconds pretty good, but a minute's even better. Weird Cat is asking, is Hermes going to be resting for much longer? Also news from Svetkov. I haven't heard about him since the day of the injury on left hand. Would love a match between these two with both fully prepared. I'll take that into consideration. Gyogi and Hermes. Okay, that would be good. Yes, I think Svetkov still needs to heal uh, left, but I think he might be able to pull right pretty soon. So, yeah, Benji just mentioned Alan Fisher is looking for a match at the age of 70. No other sport could do that. Yes, that is correct. UFC has a short career. Jay Corbin saying UFC has short careers and stop building characters because of that. Yes, I'm telling you, a lot of sport. I mean, with science and technology and medication, you could see some athletes pushing it. Like LeBron, Tom Brady. These guys are pushing the limits of what previously was not possible. But at the same time, they're still not going to be close to the longevity of arm wrestling, man. I'm telling you, that's where the money is. Longevity. GB19 asks, can you make go to a marketing level where EVW shows up on TVs or major platforms? So we had an opportunity to air some of our content on ESPN. Okay. Uh, but the way that they do it is that they won't pay us money, but they will allow us to sell our airspace. So basically, find advertisers ourselves to fill in those gaps. So that's kind of how it's being presented in the past. We haven't quite moved there yet because one of the things at one point, Robert and I, we were looking to hire some sort of a business relationship manager, and all they do is go out and make connections with companies who would sponsor EVW. So there was that. Yeah, Chael is the OG bad guy at UFC, which is very polarizing, right? But polarizing characters tend to do pretty well, in the sense where, like, people who love them a lot, and people who hate them so much that they will tune in to watch that person lose. So in that sense, it's good for the business. Hey, Roy. So let's see. Potentially, don't know yet, but at the very least, the BKFC owners have expressed interest in coming to our Switzerland. So great. Drew just mentioned that he talked to the BKFC group at Mr. Olympia, telling them how it would be awesome to have some cross promotion with arm wrestling too. I agree. I think cross promotion with any other related sport is always a good thing. Trying to get our name out there, and there are hopefully more and more. Just talking to them once about arm wrestling, it's not going to convince anybody to change. It'll be like, oh, I heard about it from my friend about arm wrestling, and now I'm seeing it. I'm seeing, say, Devin's video on my Instagram feed, and I see EVW Sports on my TikTok. Hey, you know what? I'll go check it out. So it takes some time in order to get somebody really into the sport. But the fastest way is drag your friends and family to a live event and then explain to them what's happening. Like, oh, guys, check this out, and oh, he's gonna do a hook, and this is what a hook is, and just start explaining that. I literally was bugging Robert the whole night when we were in Istanbul last year, and I was like, hey, what's happening here? And he was just giving me the play by play, and that opened my eyes and like that's crazy. That's a super cool match. So Roy has a suggestion. I would like to make a suggestion. More interviews with polos during the week. Ingen would do a live every day talking to polos. I think you should do something similar. I think yeah. So I've been super tied up this past 2 weeks. Matter of fact, we were supposed to have one that's supposed to happen already by somebody else to cover for me. And over time, I'm going to try to move my kind of podcast style, interviewing athletes on the background, onto the main channel at some point. Once I feel like, everything's smooth, everything's professional, and to my liking, right? So I'm going to put myself in a more precarious position, but I need to be very, very capable first. So yeah, ESPN exposure is what we want. Okay, so we have Benji here, and he's gonna maybe share what happened to us. Well, what happened to the sport, really, essentially.
Hey
Benji.
everybody, hey Dex. What's up, buddy?
Oh wait, can I hear you?
Can you hear me?
Maybe I can't hear you.
Hello.
Hold on
Testing.
a second. Here.
Hello. Hello.
Oh man, maybe I can't hear you for some reason.
Can the chat hear me?
Darn it!
They say they can hear us.
Wasn't set up for this.
Well, chat.
All right.
Get some interesting
Oh,
news.
you can hear me both. Let me check something real quick. Now, one more thing. I'm gonna keep messing until there's so many settings on this dude. Okay, there we go. Benji, can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, Benji,
Loud and clear. Hey guys. Hey Dexter.
where you at right now?
I just got to the warehouse. Yeah, that I'm working at.
Oh, okay. Are you still in Vegas?
No, I'm in California. Just got back from Derek's practice actually.
Ooh,
Derek Smith.
nice. All
Yep,
right,
yep,
it
yep.
is. What was the cool thing that you were able
What did
to
I What did I
accomplish?
miss? What did I miss? Have you
What do you
released
miss?
anything? Did you?
No, you
I
didn't
just
really.
saw Chael in the chat, so you talked about Chael, so that's
Yeah,
a
but
good segue.
who's the other match that you were talking about that might happen now? That technically he says yes, but I need confirmation on the other side.
Oh, the match for Chael,
Yes.
the Hall of Famer, UFC Hall of Famer.
Yes.
Does
Okay. So
anybody have a guess in the chat? Which UFC
yes,
Hall of Famer is going to face Chael potentially? Also commentate, be a guest, and appear. He's already confirmed he will. So
yes. So this Hall of Famer UFC,
depending
uh,
on the offer, I guess.
okay, he has agreed to pull Chael in sort of an exhibition match, obviously, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I haven't spoken to Chael yet to get his confirmation, but who do you think it is?
Chuck Liddell says Gotham. Very good. Very
Chuck.
good.
Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Chuck, I feel hasn't. It's not that I feel like time and his time in the octagon has kind of caught up to him. I don't think he's as good of an athlete as he used to be.
I mean, technically, he's 55. I think he's like 55 years old, right? So,
Like
I
for
mean,
striking, I think Chuck would be great, but like wrestling, I'm not sure if he's up to speed. Ooh, Rampage
mm,
Jackson, that's a good one. Is Rampage a
Randy.
Hall of Famer? He might be, huh?
Wow, Randy is he's up there in age. He's like one of the OG
Mm,
back in the day.
it would be good.
He would be pretty good.
He would
Now,
be good.
Rampage Jackson, I'm not sure about him. Let's
Is
see.
is Rampage a Hall of Famer though, guys?
Let me check. That's what I'm checking.
Mm,
Hall of Famer.
he should.
Yes,
He should.
MMA Hall of Famer. Okay, yeah, I guess I'm wrong. He is a Hall of Famer.
Okay, well,
But
that's a Dan the Beast Severin. Yeah, he's a little bit up there. Don Fry. Anybody say Don Fry? Nope.
Ken Shamrock. That's funny. Okay, so we got a winner. We got a winner, Benji. Did you
Ding,
see
ding,
that?
ding. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
Is it Deeps? Deeps, Deeps.
Deeps. Deeps got it. Deeps got it. So, and
Yeah.
it's all thanks to Benji. Benji was able to reach out, and apparently Benji kind of knows Tito himself. Sold him, what was his Bengal cats or something, right?
Yeah, back when I used to do Bengal cat breeding, I sold him his both of his Bengals he like puts on his Instagram. And then I also arm wrestled him uh for the cats for fun on YouTube. He's pretty strong. He has a history in college of arm wrestling people for money, and he said to me directly when he was looking at me, and he's got a big hand. He's got like a Devin style, not style, but like a big hand like Devin, lots of coverage. And he's going right in the hook with me, and I'm like, whoa, he's pretty good. And then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna over the top your butt. And I'm like, wait, over the top? I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, he's really good. He's really strong, and he says sure to a match.
Okay,
And
so
Chael and him have a history of fighting, and they have a recent history of some beef on stage. So this is,
oh,
yeah, where they were going to agree to a RAF wrestling match. I don't know what RAF is, but I think it's Roman Greco-Roman Federation. I'm not sure, but Chael responded and said he's not interested in a wrestling match with Tito as much as Tito is with him. They have history. There was beef. They have a chapter of history. Yada yada yada. So I mean, maybe they'll have a freaking match because it's not as serious as wrestling or fighting.
yeah, and that's the cool part that I've always kind of preached to all my new buddies, like my buddies about arm wrestling, right? Like we're just having dinner and like let's clear the table and put our hands together, right? It's easy, and if you lose, it's not the end of the world. But if you're going into like a whole wrestling thing and like real wrestling, you can like, hey, clear the floor. We're gonna wrestle to the ground in the middle of a restaurant. It feels kind of awkward, right? So that's what arm wrestling is. You can do it anywhere. You can do it almost anytime, and you can do it for a really long time. So there you have it. So it's if this goes true, it's all thanks to Benji because Benji is using his connections, being the Bengal cat seller to Tito, and got to agree. So I did see the message, and he says, okay, sure. So that would be pretty cool. Um, yeah,
Yeah, it was cool that he was, just said completely, just like, sure. I'm like, all right, well, great. That proposal worked.
yeah. I think once we get more and more. I mean, Shaw and Brian Shaw and Eddie Hall, kind of the same thing, right? I mean, one came in, and
So,
then more strongmen start coming in. We get some UFC coming in, and then the rest of the UFC, and they're right. Rampage Jackson and who else? Randy Couture. They can slowly start
mhm.
looking. Hey, maybe I can make a second comeback in the spotlight, some sort of a sporting spotlight in arm wrestling, and these guys will bring big names, and they still have big following.
Oh,
And
big time.
yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson coming back. I mean, he made a comeback in boxing, which I don't know. He
Hey, Mike Tyson would be great to have an arm wrestling exhibition match with
oh,
somebody. Oh,
oh man,
Paul, first have an arm wrestling match in our league, and then you go box each other. We'll link it too. We'll do a collab.
you know, it'd be really cool. We get Evander Holyfield, Holyfield versus Mike Tyson arm wrestling,
Right?
the grudge match.
Right?
Well, yeah, until he and then Gotham says until he
We gotta
bites his opponent's hands off.
That's got to be the poster picture. Is Holyfield taking a bite out of Tyson? Ah, as they grip up.
You know, Mike Tyson leans into the whole biting thing pretty big. That he has a snack line. Now, don't ask me what kind of snack line, but I was in Vegas, so I happened to come across it. It's called Mike Bites, and it's a
Oh
picture of a ear
wow.
getting bitten off. That's
At
called
least
Mike.
it's not his little dark chocolate line, Mike Bites or something.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Well, the thing is, I researched that, and like a lot of people get mad at Mike Tyson doing it. The only validity in him doing it is Holyfield was doing a lot of cheap headbutting. If you watch the fight, and the ref wasn't calling it, so out of frustration, Mike took a bite out of his ear. If there's any historians in the chat, they can confirm.
Mhm.
But it's not like he's a complete savage, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Or another one, Mayweather and Pac-Man, Manny Pacquiao.
Oh, Manny
That'd be a
Pacquiao.
great arm wrestling match.
Ooh, Pac-Man. Oh, yeah, that was a legendary. I watched that match live. That was legendary.
Or
But it was so
McGregor.
sad though. I
Yep.
mean, it was so sad because like Money Mayweather was just like running around in circles and he was just
Yeah.
ducking. That's a true word for ducking. He was just
Just
ducking,
counter
ducking,
punching the
ducking,
whole
and
time.
just taking
Counter
good
punch.
clean. Yeah, so that was a but Pac-Man. Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm saying, right? If we can get slowly, right? Take it step by step, right? We build up our reputation and slowly bring in more and more, like more and more famous
Famous
athletes,
celebrity type, yeah.
right?
Huge following. I mean, Tito, he had his Instagram taken down for some reason. He had like almost 400,000, which is not crazy, but it's a substantial following for a UFC guy. And he's back up, and his account got banned. He's back up almost to 200K really quickly without any promotion. He just posts random crap. So he's got a following, a
'Cause
natural following.
yeah, it's Tito,
Hmm.
like
It's a legend.
yeah, it doesn't matter. He can recreate his whole brand, like just like Devin, he can start a new account and it'll be $100,000 in 24 hours, right?
Yeah, he's
So
got constant memes about him.
yeah, Tito.
What's the
Yeah,
chat
there
saying?
are so many good ones. I mean, GB19 just posted Stallone and Schwarzenegger and Arnold. Yeah, that's another good one. But we
That's
gotta
all.
yeah, Joe Rogan and Dana White, Martha Stewart. Yeah, so the list goes on and on and on and on. Right. I think we have a big, solid plan. Solid plan. Now,
Ooh, I have another idea too. My cousin, another reason why I kind of know MMA guys or chill with them is my cousin used to sponsor them in Pride and UFC a little bit in the beginning days. He does know, um, what was I going to say? But Michael Bisping. What about Michael Bisping for a chael match? If well, or no, Michael Bisping for a Tito match, huh?
hey, it doesn't. Well, so let
He's
me
the
offer.
announcer. He's the announcer for UFC.
I could offer Chael first. If Chael declines, or maybe he says he wants to focus on commentating first, or whatever, uh, and then we can look into setting up somebody else.
Mm, mm,
That would
mm.
be
Yeah, 100%.
that would be
100%.
bonkers. Yeah, and here's the big thing, right? These athletes, they're seasoned, they're well trained in the art of entertainment as well, right? They have a whole bunch of media training, and they would have the next level trash talk too. So
100%.
yeah, trash talk. Any athlete from any other sport who has a grudge to settle, let's settle it on the over an arm wrestling table, right? What about like Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, right? That level.
Wow.
They have, I think, it's over 100 million followers, right? Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, I
They
know
have a
Cristiano
ridiculous
Ronaldo.
amount of following.
Yeah, I
Imagine
think
if we got Ice Show Speed a match since he
Cristiano Ronaldo has
oh shit.
665 million followers on Instagram. 665
Ooh.
million, right? And all of a sudden, you see the whole Latin America continent filled with arm wrestlers overnight. So
That's
There,
insane. I need to switch my Wi-Fi real quick.
yeah. No problem. Well, while that's happening, we have the thing that I want to also make an announcement is that we have what we call a media pass. Now, a media pass, you contact us, you become our media ambassador. So Benji is actually one of our media ambassadors. So if you follow his channel, and Benji, feel free to share your channel's link here, right? You would you would see that Benji has behind a lot of behind the scenes video, like athletes signing and athletes, in the hallway during event week, right? Be backstage. And this is good for the sport. It's just good for EVW because number one, it gives a different kind of camera angles, different perspective, and also it helps somebody to create more EVW sports content, right? Now, if any of you guys who are planning on attending any of our live event, send me a message, right? I will look over your channel and see if you fit the criteria to have a sort of a media pass. So the media pass allows you to go behind and interview our athletes as well after they have done our full match videos, right? And it's just extra special content. Okay, so think about it, right? If you're planning on attending future events, not just Switzerland, but say in December, you're coming to our Atlantic City or any of our published events in the future, just let me know. Let's talk about it. I'm happy to discuss that. Now, also talking about using some of our videos, our full match videos. Come talk to me about it. I also have a kind of a program that allows you to use our match videos for your and put you on sort of what we call a whitelist. So I have a team of 2 person that all they do all day long, right, is go and do copyright strikes. Literally, all they do all day long is copyright strikes. And I usually give them an updated whitelist after every event to tell them like, okay, these guys don't touch, don't put a ban because I've already personally approved them. So if you want to be on the whitelist, let me know. There's no blacklist other than that one guy that I made. But everybody else, if you want to be on the whitelist, let me know so you can have access to more videos and whatnot. Okay, so there's that. Um, there is also one more thing that we're doing. We are looking to hire uh, editors now. Well, technically, it should be Ray, Coach Ray, should be the one making this announcement. But we are hiring some editors strictly for promo type hype event videos. Okay, so if you are looking for something part time, we might need a couple of videos a week. Um, so it's not really a full time kind of gig. We'll probably pay. Right now, I think we're paying per video, and it really depends on the range of how experienced you are and the quality have you been done. So a lot of our members that does those are based in Asia because it's a little bit more affordable. Because we don't have a big budget just quite yet. But if you are looking for something, hit me up, send me a message on Instagram or Facebook uh, or email. Give me a link to all your personal channels, and so I can see your past work, and I'll put you in touch with Ray. Should I accept? So there is that. Do you paint? Do I paint straps? No, straps are too valuable. I've only got a few straps left. So, speaking of which, I want to
Hey,
end.
are you talking like Derek's Devon science straps?
Yeah, there's only a small handful that is out there because I'm not making that kind of straps anymore. I'm going to make a different kind of strap. so there's that. But that reminds me. Okay, the question for the week. Question for the week. Maybe Benji, you can ask a question, and the first person who answers in the comments will get that free art sign strap. Think about it for a
Oh
second.
wow.
But
Hmm.
Thor versus Captain America, that would be a crazy good match. I mean, technically, Captain America, no, sorry, Thor has already arm wrestled Levon.
I've got to
Thor has already arm wrestled Levon. Oh, you're talking about Chris Hemsworth, right? Uh, she, there is. Oh yeah, Avengers. Bringing out the all Avengers, not the new Avengers. New Avengers doesn't quite doesn't really hit me as well. Yeah, I've always thought this to be super fun, right? Having this kind of program where like we get a couple of famous athletes from other sport, and then we have our own top tier athlete. And there is, maybe it's like a week, right? It's a week where the two athletes train under them, and we capture a whole bunch of video, and then it's one episode, right? It's one like just like this, Drew, right? Great idea. This week is Amanda versus Ronda, and we have Sarah and Gabby training on both camps. They train each other and then see who wins. And then next week it's somebody else, right? Somebody else, and it keeps rotating around. But that would be super cool. That would be super cool. Like training weights, training everything. You could follow them when they're eating. That'd be super cool. But
Be cool.
soccer players are weaker than WNBA players. DJ is saying that. It's funny. But okay. Benji, you got a question for us?
Yep. Which East versus West did Robert Baxter pull a meet? Yeah, never. First one to answer.
First one to answer in our comments after the video. So yes, Robert Baxter was an EVW sports athlete himself. Just so you know. Just so everybody knows, he is that level.
I have his signed shirt. I love it.
He actually Robert actually pulled in Wolves and beat him. Just so you know. A couple of months prior to
did
the
he? Did he get revenge?
Yeah. So Robert
before
lost.
the match he beat him.
No, so Robert beat him at the WAF Wolves, but lost to him at EVW Sports.
After.
After.
Before. Okay.
Yeah. So darn it.
We need to run that. We need to run that back.
We call it home ground advantage.
Yeah. Once there's less stress of like everything, we need to run that back.
Yeah.
Robert versus meat.
Hey Benji, what's your arm wrestling level?
A thicker Robert.
Somebody's asking.
I'm a low level pro, I guess you would say. I'm trying to get stronger. It seems like I lost power as I lost weight. I used to be a 205 ranked puller, 185 top 8 in California. Now I'm top 10, 165 lightweight in California.
Whoa, you were 205?
So yeah, I started the sport 215. 215, 220. Yeah.
Never seen that big, so it kind of like blows my mind because I always seen you as a smaller guy.
Yeah, I feel like the 220, so it's always funny when people call me like skinny or like little. I'm just like, I feel like fat Benji still.
Fat Benji. Funny. That's funny. But anyway, so I mean, we have a whole bunch of. We already mentioned a couple of cool things. Tito Otis is agreed to come to our EVW 21. Whether or not he pulls, we'll find him a match. Benji, we gotta find him a match. If Chael says no, let's go find him another UFC fighter that he kind of fought against.
He's really good.
I think that would be so fun. That would be so fun. Right? Then
I think it'd be great, and I think the press conference would be hilarious and the hype.
Oh man, that would be pretty funny. That would be pretty good. But first, we gotta send a couple of guys. Maybe you go train Tito, and then the other guy gets trained by somebody else, local, another EVW athlete. We'll want to document everything. I'll send a team there to go document it for you, and then it becomes like a special episode. A special episode. We won't.
That'd be really cool. And we could go. Go ahead. Yeah, we could go to his restaurant. He has a really cool restaurant, little Tito's Cantina. So we can go there and check out his Bengals that I sold him. See how they're doing. Got a nice little Rolls Royce set up.
Okay. Let's plan on that. If anything, we'll send a team there to go film everything because that's gonna be hyper nuts. and then
Yeah,
another team goes
really good
to
stuff. Really.
somebody else. I think Chael's in Oregon, so maybe after that we'll go to Oregon. But all right, guys, this is another great night. Great night. I love you guys. If you guys have any other questions, like, share, and subscribe, and also talk about. Oh man, not yet. Oh, you guys can't see it. It's like 5 times bigger than yours. Yeah, it's out of frame.
It's
So,
too big. It's too
yeah,
massive.
it's too big. It's out of frame.
Stay
Like,
away.
sorry, you guys can't see it on the
Damn.
video. All right,
See
you
you
guys have a
guys.
good rest of the week. We'll catch you next Sunday. We'll see you.